We'll share our experiences from each other. Okay? I forgot. Jen has experience. All right? She's not feeling very well, so please keep praying for her. Yeah. In fact, it's a great sacrifice to see her seated there. So we bless the Lord for you, and we continue to pray for you. Now, that's beautiful. Okay? I was to have some other people with serious experience also. They were supposed also to be in the panel. I had 4 people, very senior. But there are some very sad circumstances that happened, and one of the couples are traveling right away to up country. They have a bereavement, and so we will not have them here. And then the other one, another senior, had actually very senior panelist. Yeah. So nimebaki na mmoja tu. But so what I was saying, I will just speak from you here to help us in that panel. All right? Some of you I already told you to stand by. So what I will do, Mimi, I will just share briefly. Yeah. I'll just share briefly, and then Newton will tell us now what to do next, and then this thing will continue like that. So the idea is we are learning from each other. We are learning from each other. So take it easy. Don't be tense. So I wanted just to talk about, I've actually called it the art of parenting. Now, I've used that because I think parenting is indeed an art. Yeah? There is no specific manual that you can use, because children are complete human beings. Yeah? They are human beings, and even your own children, you will notice that they are different. All your children are actually different. Mothers who have carried pregnancies, you will actually not agree with me that the pregnancy was also, the experience was different. Yeah? With your children. So it was not the same. That tells you actually these children are unique. They are unique human beings in themselves. All right? So the way you raised your firstborn, sometimes you'll have to change your tactics when you're raising your secondborn. You don't apply the same. If it works with you, praise the Lord. But actually kids are different, and they require different skills, in raising them. And that's why we call it's an art, because it's something that can be improved, all right? It's something that, I don't know how to say it, but it's a beautiful thing to raise kids. It's like an adventure, I would actually call it. It's such a beautiful experience. It's unique. You keep on learning yourself, and there is need for adjustments here and there as you handle these kids, because they are totally unique and different. But allow me to ask you a question. You must have heard, or probably you must have said this yourself, okay? That I do not want my children to go through what I went through, okay? I want my children to have a good life. To be sure that I'm actually in the right congregation. How many of you have heard that statement? That's nice. How many of you have said it? Thank you. And how many of you, it's your objective? Now, that's very interesting. Let me ask a question. Alice, why you wouldn't want your children to go through what you went through? Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Alex? Okay. Judy, you are not those. You are not those. Okay, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm. Okay.
There are many other things.
There are many other things. Okay. Kea, why you wouldn't want your Maua to go through what you went through?
Well, my upbringing generally, we went through quite a lot of what I would call today difficult situations, which I wouldn't want them to go through.
Like what?
Like, having to do casual labor for you to get food.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I wouldn't want them to get to a point where even at a young age, they have to do some manual jobs for them to get food.
Yes.
To eat. Yes.
You did it.
I did it myself.
And you are here today.
And I'm here today.
Did you die?
I didn't die.
Okay. Okay. Tell me, you wouldn't want your kids to go through what you went through? You didn't want?
No, I don't think it can be much different.
Your case? They should go through what you went through also. Perfect. And you?
For me, maybe build upon what I went through. I can say
It wasn't. Okay, Lydia.
I share the same sentiments with Alice.
With Alice.
The kind of punishments that
Shika microphone useme.
yeah, the type of punishments that we had to go through when we were young.
Mm.
Yeah, singependa watoto wangu pia ifikie mahali sasa ibidi nitumie the same kind of punishments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ulivunjika mahali pengine? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for those reactions. We are typical. Now, did you know that actually in our quest to give our children that what we call a better life than what we went through, okay, we have actually ended up destroying our own children. We have ended up actually destroying our children. And I want to ask you a question. Seriously, this is a very serious question. Because I imagine some of the things that you went through are the very thing that made who you are today. A disciplined person, all right? Respectful person. It's because of what you went through, okay? A diligent, hard work person. Care. Okay? Today you work hard because actually you are made to work hard by force as a law. And today it comes out natural. You are dependable at work. You are reliable. But you want to deny that. Your children. You want to deny them that. Let me tell you, friends, your children are complete human beings, created in the image and the likeness of God. God has a purpose for their life as individual. And those experiences that you went through that you are denying your children, actually you are denying them an extremely important experience. Let me read what I have actually written down. I've written something. I said, in our quest to provide them that good life, we end up destroying them by denying them valuable life experiences that will make them socially, morally, spiritually, mentally, and physically equipped for what God has called them to be. You see, what we do not realize is the fact that we are what we are today because of what we went through. As I've already said, we are disciplined, hardworking, with good work ethics, because of what we went through. Okay? Have you actually taken a moment and interact with the marketplace in our generation and the generation that is coming behind us? You will actually notice a very big difference, even at work, their work ethics. I've been studying at Pwani University. I am a complete different person from some of the people that we sat together in class. You know, sometimes we had those common units, and we are mixed with these small boys and girls that are coming straight from high school. We are actually world apart. The way we think, the way we reason, the way we understand things. A teacher comes to class and tells you, he just reads, anakusomea two notes. Reading notes, and they have already given you the handouts. And they're just reading them, and they're teaching. And I stopped them. I said, excuse me, you have already given these things. So you don't need to read it to us. So what you do, just teach. And allow us just to take some notes. Then Mwalimu said, no, don't worry, you guys, you will pass, you will pass. Don't worry, you will pass. And these guys are so happy about it. And I tell Mwalimu, no, we did not come here to pass. I said, so why did you come here? I said, honestly, we came here to understand things. So I am fed up with passing. I've been passing exams since primary school. And these young people say, Pastor, we unaharibu. Serious, wanaambia kabisa unaharibu. Unatuharibia. Unatuharibia. We go to the exam room. One day we went to the exam room, and they saw completely black. And there was commotion in class. Hey, what a commotion, literally. But some, kama mimi, prepared in advance. Because I know if the teacher does not deliver and you have the course outline, you just help yourself. But they can't do that. They can't. So they want to steal. So they will steal the exam. Okay? And some of the lecturers have no problem with that. They will just look the other way and you steal. Okay? Then you are given marks. All right? I know people, they are given free marks. Kabisa ile, you know, you do nothing, but you get some marks. Alex? Yes. Now, I want you to imagine that person. I want you to imagine that person in the marketplace. All right? He is or she is a doctor now. She needs to go and treat you. Okay? The Google doctors. Would you want such a person actually to operate on you? You wouldn't. But that is what actually that's how we are raising our children. We give them everything. Because we do not want them to go through what we went through. But what we went through is what made us. It's what created us. Ikatufanya vile tulivyo leo. We are kind today because you are taught to be kind by force. You are generous today because you are forced to be generous. Today our kids, some do not even want to share. All right? You give them something and then you ask them, you want to test, and they will refuse. And they will throw tantrums. And they will say, Baba, basi, Baba, it's okay, Baba. Friends, we tend to overprotect our children. We are too overprotective. Overprotective. I mean, we are overprotective. Nowadays, even allowing our children to play outside, it's an issue. Okay? It's a serious issue to allow them to play outside. Just play in the house. And I will tell you the kind of games we give them. Very interesting. It is a complete distraction. So, I want to say this, my friends. Just for the start. As parents, we are just but stewards. All right? Hawa watoto si wako. I would actually dare tell you God is the real father and mother of those children. You are just a steward. You see, let me give you an example here. And this is a live example that happened. There was this young man who had just received admission to join the university. And this young man was very excited. Very excited. And so he wanted to apply for help. So he went and he started applying. And then he realized he had already applied. But he had not done this. And he wondered, how did this happen? Only to realize it is the father who did it. Without even telling him. Okay? The guy was excited. He wanted to know that experience of doing it. But the father did it on his behalf without even telling him. There was that medical, that medical report that you need to take to school. The father had already secured it. So this young man actually came to my office, very angry. And he told me, Pastor, I want you to talk to my father. Tell him to stop treating me like a child, like a baby. I actually called the father. And I talked to him. And I tried to explain to him. But he didn't listen. He continued to do that. That boy, at some point, actually he rebelled. Completely rebelled. And he became like mad. Then they started treating him mental problems. They would give medicine he would not take. Then one day he said, I am not sick, but I want my father to go through the pain that he took me through. Now, the father thought actually he was being a good father, taking care of the child. He doesn't want the child to go through these hassles that he went through to apply for help. In the process, actually, he destroyed that child. He destroyed that child. And then at some point, the father actually transferred this young man from one university to another, and he changed the course without even the knowledge of the son. Your father, as your father, I know what is good for you. But remember, your son, your daughter, is a complete human being. Okay? Created in the image and the likeness of God. And God has a purpose for that child. And God's purpose, his destiny, has been designed by God, and God knows it. You don't play God over your children. You will actually destroy them. You see, Proverbs 22 verse number 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. Have you taken time to think about that verse? For record purpose, let me begin by saying this. Parenting begins as early as when the baby is in the womb. All right? Actually, parenting begins when the baby is in the womb. Did you know? They hear. They can actually differentiate the voice of the mother and that of the father. Some babies, when the father actually calls, the baby limps. They become very excited. That's why they can begin to learn while they are still in the womb. Sometimes, let me tell you, this is psychologically proven, that a baby can know while still in the womb whether the relationship of the father and the mother is cool or violent. Now, if it is violent, the child begins to develop defense mechanism. And sometimes this defense mechanism will appear later on as like bad manners. Yes. They defend themselves. There's a psychology book that was telling me that even sucking the thumb is a defense mechanism from a child. Na inaanzia kwa tumbo. They have already sensed the kind of environment, so they have to find something to make themselves comfortable. To forget hiyo mabifu yenu, they just go. Just like that. So parenting actually begins right in the womb. So relationship between the husband and the wife is extremely important in raising godly children. It all begins uko. So don't wait until they are 9 years, now they understand. You've lost it. Okay? Because 0 to 9 is the formative stages in their development. And everything that needs to be said must be said within that time. By the way, if you lose that, the chances of struggling are high. Because values can only be passed strongly and effectively at that age. If you wait until they grow, you've lost them. Utakuwa na kibarua ngumu sana. Utakuwa na kibarua ngumu sana. Some people say, teenagers, they are very difficult to raise. They are very good. You lost it somewhere. Actually, you lost it somewhere at that formative stage. And if you lose that, you will have to live with it. Uko mbele. So the young parents, this is good news to you. For the older one, tighten your belt. Praise the Lord. So, parents must understand that what their children become is dependent on the kind of training they have received. The best training you can give your children is to instill godly and Christian principles in them. And the most important, that which is the most important to you is also important to your child. Okay? So what I will do here, very quickly, I will just give you some principles. Now, principles, they are just principles. You can apply them differently. Okay? They are also not written in stones. Now, this is according to me. Number one, your priority, this is the principle one. Your priority for your children is to bring them up in the Lord. That is the number one priority. Bringing them up in the Lord. Even in Malachi, the Bible says God is seeking godly offspring. That is the reason why he made the two one. Because he's seeking godly offspring. And that's important. That's key as a parent. Especially Christian parent. Yeah? If you read Ephesians, this is a verse that has been misunderstood by so many parents. Ephesians 6:4. Many parents have actually misunderstood this verse. That says, fathers, okay. It says, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. Okay, Alice? The New King James Version says, and you fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord. Okay. Now, fathers are, I don't know why the Bible used the fathers, I don't know. Because they're the most likely to provoke their children to anger. All right? And mothers spoil the kids. Mothers spoil children. Fathers provoke them. Okay. So fathers are commanded not to agitate or irritate their children. Now, there is a Greek word here. There's a Greek word. The word that has been used there to mean here to irritate. I can't even pronounce it. Parajosete, which implies exasperation. Kama mshasikia hilo word. Ama frustration. So it's like fathers do not frustrate your children. Okay? You know frustration. To frustrate someone. Sometimes you have been frustrated at work. Okay? Your boss has been like a thorn in your flesh, frustrating your efforts. Okay? So, take that word. Now, fathers frustrating their own children. Make no mistake, these things are happening. For real. So the Bible says, do not do that. Basically, in practice, this means avoiding unfair and cruel behavior or blunted favoritism. So that is what Alice was talking about. This is cruel. We are talking of cruel behavior. That is what is forbidden. And also favoritism is forbidden. Okay? You remember the story of Rebecca, Jacob and Esau. Actually, the mother almost lost his favorite son. Okay? And also, Jacob, later on. Favoritism in the family. Outright favoritism. My wife is here. Let me say this. It's parenting. She's the firstborn. Okay? And firstborn girl. She's loved by the father. I would say extremely. Extremely loved by the father. To the extent, at some point, her siblings literally protested that daddy anapendelea nani? Phoebe. Up to today, my father-in-law is extremely comfortable staying in our house. Very comfortable. In fact, once I complete my house, I'll invite him aje akae hapa kama 6 months. But I want to show you the point that the other siblings noticed that. Okay? That's the only thing I wanted to say. They just noticed it. And it's not a good thing. By the way, every parent somehow has that. Those that have more than one, every parent akona, some inclination to a certain child. Okay? Leave that, keep it in your heart. Don't show it. Because imagine it can ruin. I've heard someone saying, I am the black sheep in our family. Have you heard that? Now, when a child arrives to that point, calling himself a black sheep in the family, you've lost that child. Seriously, you've lost that child. There's one who told me that he had just gotten a job as a teacher with TSC. And he said, I swear before God, my father will not see or test even a single shilling from me. Yes. So that's your son that you are protecting. You didn't want them to go through the things that you went through. And in the process, you hurt them so badly that they are angry with you. Very angry. Be very careful how you raise your children. They are God's children. Sometimes, learn to release them. Just learn to release them. Not always dropping your children to school. They are big boys. Let them go to school. Let them find where to go to school. On a serious note, It is very important, by the way, so that they can understand how to deal with real issues in a real world without the help of the parents. Let me say this categorically. You will not be here forever. You will not be with your children forever. Let me ask this question. The way you have raised your children right now, supposed, God forbid, you die today, will they survive? Will your relative gladly enjoy staying with them the way you have raised them? Will people find joy actually staying with them? Will they survive in this hostile world? How are you training them? How are you raising them? I stop actually dropping my son to school. I only do that when it is raining. When it's raining, I'll drop him to school. But when it is fair weather, aende mwenyewe. Na anatoka mapema. He has to. I will pray for him, but he has to go to school. So one day, I didn't have money, to be honest. And he needed to get some lunch in school. He had broken his container, so he needed, we had not replaced it. And I didn't have money to give him for lunch. So he asked for money, and I told him, I don't have. Okay? So he comes, what are you going to do? Said, come back, Amma, let's do this. He said, no. Just leave it that. You know, I'm a big boy. I'll know what to do. Yes, that's what he told me. I am a big boy. I'll know what to do. I said, granted, just go to school. So he went to school. Then in the evening, I asked him, big boy, so how did you deal with the situation? And he tells me, I talked to a friend of mine. He gave me some money. I bought my lunch. And then once I get my money, I refund back. No, that's life. Super. But sometimes we want to give them even excess. We think actually by doing that we love them. But we are spoiling them. We are actually destroying them. We are denying them serious life experiences that will help them in the future. This life is about negotiation, give and take. And they have to learn that from early. But we want to do that for them. When they are adult, they can't do anything. Like boys nowadays, they can't even talk to girls. They can't. Vijana squeeze, they cannot talk to a girl face looking in the eyes. Na mpatie mistari. Na watch facial expression ya msichana. Ajue huyu amekubali ama amekataa. They don't know that. So that's why they use force, violence, masculinity to prove just a point. All the violence that we are getting nowadays in marriages is because of poor parenting. Bad parenting. For real. Boys have not been trained to be boys. Yeah? We are becoming boys on their behalf. And we lose it. We lose it. My daughter, she's on a long holiday. Back in September. So, we gave her a job. We gave her a job. She will work in the house as a house help. And then we'll pay her. And that's what she's doing. Then her faithfully and happily. Taking care of his brothers, especially the young one. Make sure they have warm water in the morning. Dress them nicely. Breakfast. Take him to school. Lunch. And when dad comes, also he finds food. The house is clean. He washes my clothes. I pay. Okay? Wewe unataka msichana mkubwa kama yule bado afanyiwe. House help. Still wash the clothes of a big guy. Our children, once they finish eating, take your plate, go to the sink, clean it, keep it safe. Mind your business. Yes. Hakuna story ya house girl aenda aje achukua kaoshe. na wako na mikono ya kuosha. They have to do it. They have to. Some of you, even the way you feed your children is already bad manners. A small thing like this one. Is this one working? Yes, a small thing like this one. This thing came and found you two there already. Okay? Already. Now when you look for the food, you cook the food yourself. And then when it's time to feed now, you have to chase the child everywhere. Chasing the child, chasing the child. What are you actually training that child? This is a principle in my house. I always tell my wife, when they're hungry, they will eat. Yes. Simple as that. When they're hungry, they will actually eat. You don't die chasing a child. He has to eat. Then you become like a slave of your child. You know, by the way, let me tell you, these little things, they are very smart. They just test the water, and then they realize, we have something here to joke around with. They will play around with you so much. So much. Like my daughter, akienda kulala na mama yake, huwa anamsumbua sana. Lakini nikienda kulala na yeye mimi, ni mara moja moja sana. Most of the time, atalala. Mama yake ataenda bafu, akitoka bafu, ashalala tayari, ashalala. Shalala. Because akicheza, katatandika. Na hakataruhusiwa kulia. Yes. I'll discipline you until you feel the pain. Not that ya baba, takuchapa wewe baba, nyamaza baba. Sangapi amekuwa babako lini? When did he turn to become your father? You are the father here. So let it remain like that. Even the child needs to know that you are the father. Alex. Now, we've said that fathers are commanded not to agitate or irritate their children, isn't it? And we said in practice this means avoiding unfair and cruel behavior or blunted favoritism. Godly fathers are not to push their children towards anger. Okay? Like the one who was doing everything for the child. That's pushing that child to wrath. And you think actually you are doing something. I've actually seen boys that they are doing things deliberately to hurt the parents. And the argument is, they hurt me. They denied me things. Yeah? So I want to show them. Now, the given contrast, bringing up in the training and admonition of the Lord, shows that not provoking children does not mean allowing them lavish in frenzy of unfettered life or avoiding disciplining them so that they will not feel unhappy. You know, some parents think like, chapa mtoto and then, I'm breaking the command of the Lord I've made them unhappy. Do you remember those days would be beaten thoroughly and would not be allowed to shed tears? Tandika tunaambia futa machozi. Sitaki kusikia. Futa machozi na unaendelea. And here we are. Even in school, the kind of discipline that we used to get in school. Sometimes 10 teachers actually line up. And you get 2 from each. Did we die? Did we die? And you call that one child abuse. And that's what made you come out who you are today. You are traveling the world because of that. It instilled some responsibility, respect to authority. Nowadays we have a generation that completely does not respect elders. Completely. I remember very well in our times. Even when they sound that, when they raise or bring down the flag, when there's a wherever you are, nobody's seeing you, but you stand attention. Okay? Even in a busy road. Nowadays, hakuna hiyo. I remember we would be playing soccer and then you hear, the ball stops. Everyone stands. Or you are playing and then an elderly person passes right in the middle of the field. That game stops until they are safely gone. Then the ball resumes. Try that today. Just try that today. In those days, you would enter into a bus, you sit, and then you see someone who appears to be older than you, and you simply stand. Nobody even tells you. You will just stand, and they will sit, whether you have paid or not. Pay and stand. You get the point? And it was instilled in us. Because if you don't do that, anybody can deal with you there. Anybody. Because parenting was a communal issue. Children were raised by the community. And even if they will not beat you, okay, they will report you. And that is the worst thing. Afadhali hata wakupige tayari huku. They will ken you thoroughly, but they will not abuse you, but they will ken you nicely. You will feel the pain, but you will not cry home. You will just go home normal as if nothing happened. There go there crying. Go home crying. Then, what is happening? Ati, babake fulani amenipiga. Why? Why? Ati, ilikuwa sijui nimefanya nini. Okay, just a moment. Nataka twende tukamwone huyo anaingia nyumbani anatoa bakora. Utatengenezwa zaidi ya zile ulipata huko. So we used to respect our elders. And honestly speaking, that is the same thing we transfer. Now we respect God. Because that value of respecting authority was instilled in us. So we see God as an authority. Okay? By generation today, so God is, nini. I mean, my friend, we are not doing okay. Actually, we are not doing okay. And if it continues like this, there will be a serious problem. And a serious one. Serious problem. So, admonishing them in the Lord, bringing them up in the training of the Lord does not mean actually giving them everything they ask. Okay? Some parents, poleni sana. Some of the children, you take them to the supermarket, you wanted to buy certain things, and they see things, and they demand those things in the supermarket. And then you say, no. Bas, shake it, take it. You are actually raising a bandit. You are raising a bandit in your home. You are raising a bandit in your house. Then you give them what they want. You give your child food. Food. Then they say they don't want it. And then, Baba, what do you want? What will you eat? Serious? Is that how you are raised? Is that how you are raised? Why are you spoiling your child? I do not want my children to go through what I went through. When we moved from Mombasa to Kilifi, my children, by the way, they were going to a very good school. A school that I could not afford. Okay? But I got a favor with the director by his own volition. He decided to give me 50% discount of school fees. And the kindergarten, the whole of kindergarten, free. Then when they go to primary, then I start paying 50%. So it was a very good school. They eat good food, chapatis, pilau. They used to eat good food. in that school. And then we moved to Kilifi. Okay. School was a problem. Okay. So my son would not eat what was being provided in school. And then the teachers were asking, kwani huyu mtoto nyumbani anakula nini? Nikamwambia, hiyo inayopeanwa hapo, atakula. He will eat. That is what he will eat. And I told him, my friend, that is what you will eat. Oh, my stomach, ambia, your stomach itazoea. Your stomach will get over it. All right? So take porridge. Something that even at home, they were not getting porridge. The white one. The white porridge. But when we were growing up, white porridge with salt, not sugar, with salt. And we took it with thanksgiving. With thanksgiving. And honest, we were not malnourished. We were very healthy. Sometimes we ate vegetable only. That is the only thing that was available. And you eat it gladly, mpaka unashiba. And today, ati mami, you don't want to eat sausage. Okay, what do you want to eat? Eh? I want nyam chom. And we will go out of our way, actually, to bring those things. And then they just eat kidogo, they just leave it. All right? Serious? So that's how we are raising our children today. I asked you a question and I will ask it again. God forbid, if you can disappear today, will your children survive in this world? Will they survive? I know of a couple, actually. It was my principal when I was in Bible college. They died the same day with the wife through a road accident. And they left their children. So the question is, will they survive by themselves? You see, parents are given a positive command to bring them up, those children. In other words, Christians are expected to highly be involved in raising their own children. Now, two areas here are mentioned in this passage that we have read. The first one, it talks about the Apostle Paul actually include the issue of discipline. Okay. He says discipline involves learning self-control and the ability to restrain from personal desires in order to do what is right. Both the child and the parent need actually to exercise self-discipline. Because sometimes there are things that we did not do ourselves. Now we want to do them through our children. Okay? You wanted to become a doctor, but the grades did not allow you. So now you are forcing your child to become a doctor. Without actually knowing that these are complete human beings, that God has a destiny for them. God has a plan for them. Now you force them to become doctors. I have actually had people telling me, this is for my father. This degree is for my father. Once I'm done with it, I'll give it to him, and then I will go and pursue my passion. There is a lady who did that. Citizen News. There was this lady. All right? Julie Gishuru. Professionally, he was a lawyer. He went to school, akastudy mpaka akamaliza, akaenda law school akamaliza, akachukua hiyo akaachia wazazi, yeye akapursue her passion, journalism. Money wasted. You see, sometimes we think, you watch after the results are out, class 8 or the O-level results are out. You will hear crazy things. Parents, they brag, what do you want to become? A neurosurgeon, a doctor. That's what we teach them. That's what we tell them. That's what we tell them. There's a young man that came to my office yesterday, a student from Pwan University. He will be graduating this December, maybe. And this young man, he studied something in the university, but right now, his passion and everything is completely different. And he did something that actually caught my attention. I even asked him to come to church on Sunday, tomorrow, that young man. He has done something that really caught my attention. And since I was doing parenting, I told him, you come. Because sometimes we think we know what is good for our children, but we don't consult God about our children. And we make huge mistakes. Remember, they are not your children. You are just a custodian. They belong to God. God has the blueprint for their life. And you must constantly involve God. So Paul talks about disciplining our children. And that is what some of you are saying. We will not do that. Okay? Let them just grow. Let them grow. Okay? Sometimes actually that which you think is extreme, it is necessary. Yeah? I have beaten my children sometimes very thoroughly. And then baadaye naenda tena namfuata. I impress the child. And we have a small conversation. Okay. We have a small conversation. But I impress them after really. So every time they think going that route, that pain just registers in the mind. And it tells them, this is not the right thing. And they will not do it. They will not do it. You know? The second thing that the Apostle Paul is talking is about instructions. Instructing them in the Lord. The first one was discipline. The other one is instruction. So we should be involved in teaching our children about God's ways through both education and example. Now this is important. Both education and example. We must set examples ourselves for them. All right? For example, fathers. Actual fathers have the biggest responsibility. Fathers. To be a father is a huge thing. Okay? My friend, Makobo, you see you're a father. And God is also a father. Okay? So you actually work in the order, in that divine order. You fall in that category. So actually you are God, let me use this word for the extreme. You are actually the reflection of God to your children. You are the reflection of God to your children. So when they see you as a father, and then you tell them, God is a loving father, they first see you first. The father they see as a loving one, then that one will help them to appreciate God as the father. Okay? But if you are cruel to your children, and then you tell God, God is a loving God, He's a loving father, they just see you immediately. And that is how they will relate with God, as a cruel father. And they may never actually accept Christ just because of that. So we have a big responsibility. We are the greatest influencers to our children. So how we balance between discipline and instruction. You see, discipline is not punishment. Those are two different things. Okay? I know we were disciplined and punished at the same time. That one I accept. But it still worked. But for us, we will discipline our children and also instruct them. Many of us, we refuse, we remove the discipline part. We just try to instruct. And that's what the Americans are telling you. How many, today, many of the people that are in prison, they are people that were not disciplined. They were just left. You know, a child can also even resent that. A child can resent that. He can actually equate that like you don't love them. If you don't know, by the way, some can equate that you do not love them by not actually disciplining them. When they hear others say, oh, dada alinichapa, wewe nilipofanya hivyo, wewe ukifanya hivyo utachapwa. Yeye hachapwi kwao na anafanya hivyo. Anaona kweli wazazi wake hampendi basi. Why you think you love the child? You're spoiling. Kids talk. Kids, I'm telling you, they compare notes. They compare notes. They bring their parents, wanawaweka kwa public na wanawadiscuss. I am telling you the truth. They discuss them. They discuss them. You see, according to scripture, the Bible says, a father trains the child he loves. A father disciplines the child he loves. That is in Proverbs 3:12. Yeah? But also a father instructs the child that he loves. Proverbs 13:1. And a father provides for his children. Proverbs 19:14. Now, let me say something else. There's like a principle kingine hapa nataka kuwapatia. Your environment trains your children more than you do. That's another principle. Your environment trains your children more than you do. Now, you may not agree. The community your children live in and the school they attend influences them even more than probably you do. So accept the fact that the environment is training your child for you. Therefore, make the effort to control their environment and don't just give them a set of rules to follow. So even the school that they attend should be a concern to you. You know, some of us, we just hear, oh, that school produces 400. That school produces 400, so we take our children there to get 400. Without actually understanding the environment in which they will be growing. You understand? Because life is not about the 400s. Life is not about A's. There is so much in life than those A's that you want for your child. How many have A's and they are completely lost? Completely destroyed. When we first came into Kilifi, I took my daughter, he was in class 7. She was in class 7, yes. And I took her to a certain school that I will not disclose. And I removed her after 1 month. And I had paid everything. School fees, I had paid for food, and I've paid for transport in full. And I removed that child within 1 month. And I even told the school, you can keep the school fees. Okay? But let's negotiate the food and transport. And they said, no. No. I said, okay. They tried, but I said, okay, I'll take my daughter away. The reason is, number one, parents were not allowed in that environment ya hiyo shule. You can only enter the office. And after the office, you go away. So when I got that, I said, I can't. Personally, I will have even to go to the classroom. And I didn't want, I will go around the compound. And I don't compromise that one. So I used to do that. The first mistake they did, my daughter is in class 7, but they are actually handling class 8 work because class 7 was done in class 6. Number one, that is already an error. In developmental ya watoto, that is wrong. Extremely wrong. You are overstretching the mind of that child, and somewhere along the line, they may be confused with certain things. And so they were so busy doing class 8, and then I went and questioned. And they say, no. Your daughter is very bright, so what we'll do, we'll just, you know. Okay. So sometimes I would go to school. So I went there in the compound. They were in class. The whole school is quiet, completely quiet. So I just walked around alone. I didn't talk to anyone. And then I saw one child move from class like an arrow. Actually, that child moved like an arrow. And he went to a water tank and he grabbed some water from the tap, drank the water, and then went back to class. And then another one did that. And I was wondering, what is going on? Okay, I waited until break time. So break time, they were given porridge. And everyone went to the water tank and added water into the porridge. And, I mean, yes, it was hot. Then they swallow it, then back to class. I said, no, there is something wrong. Serious, there is something wrong. Then I asked my daughter. Says me, in our school, we are told we should not talk to anyone, but we talk to books. In our school, we talk to books. And then there is no games. Okay. Then the girl would come home sometimes past 9. And then the amount of homework, I would honestly look at the child, hata kama nataka 400, I will destroy my child. After 1 month, I visited the office. I want my daughter out of. In fact, before that daughter of mine met Christopher, Elder Christopher. Then Christopher asked her, hey, how do you like your school? I said, I don't like it. And I had it. I had that. It was not directed to me. It was directed to Elder Christopher. But I actually had that. I don't like it. But she didn't tell me. Okay? My father has done his best. He has taken me to one of the so-called good school in Kilifi. He has paid everything, you know. And then they used to drop my daughter very late. So they would go around with their old Nissan car. Then she will land in my house the first day alikuja 10. The first day. And then she has homework. She needs to eat. She needs to sleep. Tomorrow 5, she's out. You want 400, isn't it? So I said, I will be coming and take my daughter because they were having tuition until 8. So I'll be coming there. I'll pick my daughter myself. Okay? I tried that. After that month, I moved her to another school that I will not disclose. So when I went to that school, at least it was actually a school. Children are playing, they are making themselves dirty, And I said, this is a school. Yes. Ukiona mtoto ameenda shule na amerudi clean. Start questioning the environment. Now, let me just mention for you some of the environments that actually affect or teach your children. Number 1 is your home. Okay? Your home. And then you people who have a habit of sending your kids for sleepovers. You better know those homes. All right? School. The school your child attend is an environment that influences your child. They teach your child more than you actually do. The friends they have. Unaelewa? Yes. I have noticed. Achana na huyu mtoto. Because Newton doesn't want this child to walk around and discover a few things here. Everywhere they will chase this baby. Everywhere. So, Newton allowed this boy to explore. Sawa sawa. By the way, he will begin to learn that this is dangerous when it hurts him. All right. Don't be overprotective. My daughter used to like, that candle. She was just amused, what is this? So I allowed her to touch the flame. And she actually touched the flame. From that day henceforth, she respects candles. And that's important. And Jason also loved to, he was so curious about the iron box. All right? I allowed the hot iron box to touch him. Up to today, he actually handles the iron box with care. Experience is the best teacher. So, the friends your kids have, they also teach them. And they teach them a lot, by the way. The friends your kids have. You know, when the Bible says Jesus sticks closer than a brother, and then he talks about what a friend we have in Jesus. Friends have influence to their friends. So that environment, your friends, ya watoto wako. And then some of you, you have even started homeschooling because you don't want your children to mingle with other children. You are also doing something terribly wrong. They need to have friends. They need to choose friends. Okay? They need to choose friends. What you need to do is to control the environment. You control the environment. By the way, friends are very good people in life. They are very valuable in life. And every human being needs friends. Okay? So don't decide who will become a friend to your child per se, but control the environment. There are some places you have to put down your foot and say, this one, no. Okay? Why? You can explain. You have to explain and make sense. You have to make sense. But don't just say, those ones are bad. Those ones are bad people. That's also wrong. You don't tell a child that. That flani, they are bad. Okay? If I am your child, me, I am very curious. So when you tell me, wale watu ni wabaya sana, I want to discover myself. Seriously, how bad are they? Okay? And in many cases I have discovered they were not bad. You only had a bad experience with them, so you think I will also have the same. So you want to protect me. Let me also have my own experiences. But control the environment. Okay? And then, the most serious one is ma vitu ma social media. Vitu kama television, iPad, iPhone, the internet and the computer, my films. Those things, they are teaching our children more than you know. Okay? You people who love your kids to watch cartoon all the time, you know, when they watch the cartoon, they are just quiet, they are not causing disturbance, and you are busy doing your thing. Or you give them your phone, okay? So that they watch their favorite games and cartoons and everything. All right? And you think, that's great. Mtoto wako kwa room yake, amenyamaza huko 2 hours. Akuna na tablet. Okay? And that's it. You think actually you're okay. Because haku disturb, you're doing your thing. So there are some parents actually who have even bought iPhone, not smartphones, sorry, for their children. Smartphone. Big one. I know. And those phones are actually connected to Netflix. The kids can go there and watch stuff. We love them, isn't it? Yeah. That's sweet. But that becomes the environment that is training your child. There are cartoons that are promoting homosexuality, by the way. Okay? You have seen them. There are actually cartoons that are promoting homosexuality and lesbianism. The cartoons too. So your child sees that. Okay? So in his mind, that's normal. Isn't it? So he approves of this kind of a relationship. Then somewhere along the line, they actually start such kind of a relationship. And then, unakuja bado unakuwa mkali, you become very angry. And then they wonder, why are you angry? And you're the one actually who introduced me to this. Now, you become the enemy of your child at that time. How many of you here, I know many of you, maybe you are here, you grew up in those homes with televisions, with those things. How many? Yeah? You are the lucky ones. You are the lucky ones. How about phones? No phones? You didn't have phones, eh? Okay. Okay. Nyinyi. Which one? The black one? Great Wall. The Great Wall. Nyinyi wa Samsung na watoto wa juzi nyinyi. Ya Sony. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. Were there cartoons? You watch? Okay. What kind of the cartoons were there? Okay. In those days, even the content was controlled. The content was seriously controlled. But today, no. How many of us, we have internet in our homes and our kids have access to them? Okay? It's a good thing. Remember, we've said you control the environment. You control the environment. You need to know what your kids are watching. All right? A lady, I remember actually of one church, one day came to me and she was telling me that the kids are watching pornography. And they're small kids. And then the mother became very angry. And they protested. They said, but we found this thing in dad's phone. And they were so bold. Yes. Then they transferred it to their phones. The phones that dad and mom bought for them. Now they are watching pornography. Then unakuja church, you are fasting and praying. My children, Lord, my children. But actually, you are the initiator of that bad manners. You love them excessively. I told my daughter Grace, there will be no phone until the time you are going to the university. That's when I'll buy you a phone. But for now, actually no phone. And I did not, even when she was in high school, there was no phone. If you're in school, use the Mwalimu's phone, call me, we talk. Okay? So when she was going to the university now, I took myself to the shop and she picked a phone. Of course, with manageable, the prices, the limits. The limits. Okay? Also, the church is another influencer, and they are the neighbors. All right? Those are areas that also train your child. So it is important, if you can, to control the environment ya watoto wako. Now, I have a few suggestions that I need to give you very quickly. I'm taking a lot of time. The first suggestion that I want to give you as a parent, teach your children work ethics. All right? Teach your children at an early age work ethic. Teach them to work hard. Teach them that God blesses working hard. Teach them working hard is honoring God. Hard work pays. And actually hard work is obeying God. Those are things that you have to instill to your children. And I will tell you, the home is the best place to start teaching work ethics to our children. The home. Involve them. Work together with them. Okay? Sometimes I take my boys and I tell them, okay, let's go and slash the grass outside na tuzikusanye katupe huko. Okay? So mimi nakata, Peter na rek, JJ anabeba wheelbarrow. Anapeleka kwenda kumwaga huko. And we do that. Sema nimechoka mpaka tumalize. Until we finish, and that is it. And they have to. I was actually planning to take them to my construction site. You know, I have not gone there for a while because there has not been much progress. So there's lots of grass. So I was thinking I take them there, to Limbe. But a good Samaritan decided to do it for me. So Colossians 3:23 and 24 says, whatever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord. So let's teach your children work ethics. Naelewa. Sometimes we overprotect them. We don't want them to do anything. Okay? We don't. Even some girls, they are big girls and they don't know how to cook. Surely. And they grew up in a home. Girls don't know how to cook. When did you learn to cook? Some of us, when we were already, by the time I was going to primary school class 1, I knew to do everything. In our home, we used to be many. Nowadays we are scattered. But in those days we were many. Actually, we were so many. So we had a compound, a big compound. So that compound was divided into small portions. Every school-going child had a portion to clean before they go to school. So you wake up, you clean, then go to school. Because in school you have also a portion to clean. So why go clean there and you don't clean here? So we used to first clean at home. Okay? During farming now, there was also a portion to farm early in the morning. So you wake up at 5, go do your portion, come and clean, then wash your legs, because it was actually washing your legs and these parts, and then we go to school. And we did that. I started actually working for money when I was still in primary school. I would go and farm in someone's farm and make money. I'd go and plant in someone's farm and make money when I was in primary school. Okay? And when I went to high school, I was bought one pair of shoes and one pair of a short trouser and a shirt. That's all. That was my uniform. And that is all for the 4 years. That's all for the 4 years. Some of the items I bought from one, I lost them in the first week. They were stolen. My basin was stolen in the first 1 week. Okay? My slippers were stolen in the first week. Now I had to figure out a way to survive. And I survived. I survived, including using trees as a toothbrush. You have to survive. Find a way to survive. Then know how to talk to people. Okay? Sometimes you do not have soap ya kufulia nguo. Know how to talk to people. Yes. Know how to talk to people. That will survive. But the rest I worked to get my own school uniform. I would work during the holidays. I would go and work in a construction place. Eh? But today we have children that cannot do anything. Someone actually amemaliza university. They can't think by themselves. Parents ndio wote tunakimbia tukiwatafutia kazi, looking for job for our children. It's not supposed to be so. It's not supposed to be so. Let them look for jobs. Yes. Let them work. Like Papa Mosh, take your children to work in your shops. Let them go and fix lights. Teach them to do it. Let them accompany you. Let them do it. Let them learn how to do it. You know, sometimes we give them these kids gadgets. These gadgets will not teach them how to farm. The gadget will not teach them how to paint. Painting. Welding. You have to teach them. The easiest thing that we teach them is computers. We teach them computer so that they spend their time on this one. Already created content. They keep them busy with created content. When will they create? When will they create? We buy toys for our children, isn't it? But some of us, we made toys for ourselves. We made toys for ourselves. Today, I am told there is CBC. But largely, it is parents that are actually doing it. That is nonsense, in my opinion. Because you are sent to go and do something, it is the parent that does the thing, gives the child to take to school. So it is the parents that are going back to school. That is what is happening. Number 2, encourage their gifts. Okay? We've said number 1, you teach them work ethic. Number 2, encourage their gifts. This is important. Be attentive to gifts that God has given your children. The earlier we discover this, the earlier we encourage and develop them before they become adults. It is important. Remember, I've said parenting is an art. And every child is unique, I've said. All right? So you need to pay attention to every child. While they are still young, you can actually begin to see what God actually ordained them to be. And then begin to encourage their gifts. The only problem with us, usishika hiyo, wacha hiyo utaumia. Usipande hapo utaumia. That's what we do. That's why Newton runs up and down everywhere here. It's because we do not want them to do that. We do not. But it is actually through those things that you begin to see their interests. You begin to learn their interests. Eh? My son, for example, Peter, loves animals so much. To the extent that he started keeping chicken. Okay? In the house. Then they started becoming many. Then wanakunya ovyo. Sasa, I don't like it at all. Now, I started speaking things that are negative. It's my confession. Bad parenting on that one. I started speaking things. I don't like Mavia cook up everywhere. I started saying things. And then, slowly by slowly, my boy started pulling out from his own projects. Yeah? He became less and less concerned about those things. Then far much later now, it hit me so badly. But the damage had already been done. The decision has been made in his heart. So please, encourage their gifts. Just encourage their gifts. Panasema, stop it. No, you're getting dirty. It is actually in getting dirty that things are invented. You invent things. Let's allow them to get dirty, but let's encourage them. Let's encourage them. Okay? Also, Peter likes running. He's very fast. And so he has been telling me, Daddy, take me somewhere there is a competition. I can make money. So I was telling him, where do I take you here in Clifford? Niwapi, there is no competition here. When you go to high school, maybe you can do it. And he has been repeatedly telling me, take me to somewhere, Bwana. But honest, he wants to make money through running. Okay? Honest, we need to encourage. We need to encourage our children when they are still very tender, very young. Take time, study your child. Number 3, give your children opportunities to do things. All right? Give them opportunities to do things. Give them opportunity to do certain things. Yeah? Sometimes actually, give them something to destroy. Yeah? Sometimes they're interested in something, let them destroy it. From the process, actually, they will learn something. Very valuable lesson to invent certain things that may later on amazes you. Okay? But there are some parents, their houses are well arranged. Even kids know. You don't. You have to walk in a particular manner, even in the house. But let's encourage our kids, by the way, to do things. Yeah? To build things. Hata kama unaona anacheza na mchanga huko, it is not useless. It's learning place there. It's learning place. So allow them to get that. Okay? Those who live in flats, sometimes you'll have to take your children out. Yeah? I know we were born with shoes in town, so we don't know how even the grass feel like. But did you know that even the grass is therapeutic to children when they step on it? Yeah, scientifically it is. So nyinyi kaeni tu mkiwavisha viatu sayoti na masocks. Viatu sayoti. It's therapeutical. It works something about even their brain. There's something about the grass. Come out. There is something about the grass. Okay? Did you know even the sun, it's good for your children? Did you know that? Wachomwa na jua huko. We have a protective in our generation. So allow them, give them opportunity to do things. You know, don't allow them to watch too much TV. Sawa? Don't give them smartphones and tablets, etc. You see, when you are growing up, you didn't have these things, isn't it? See, you are still fine. You are okay, isn't it? Your son will never learn how to drive, welding, carpentry, all these things by just watching the television. All right? They need to make their hands dirty. Do you know some of our children, they don't know even how to use the djembe? They don't. Even how to use it. They don't. Some of our children still think that the chicken we have in the supermarket was just born like that. For real? Yeah? Some children have not even seen goats. They haven't seen cows in real life. Yeah? They think meat is just, that's how it is. Either it grows from a tree, like they don't understand completely. So we raise them like the chicken, the broilers. We raise our chicken like our kids like broilers. You put them in the boot, 3 kilometers they are dead. Okay? Lakini weke ya kienyeji hapo. Paka Kakamega. Paka Kakamega. By the way, it is said that TVs, phones, and tablets ruins children's concentration span. These gadgets are ruining our children's proper development. So you may think actually you're doing them a favor, you're not. That's why in school, in those days, we used to have a PE lesson. Every day there must be a PE lesson, physical exercise. And we'd go to the field and stretch. Curl big, curl small, fly spring, all these things. They are important for the development of a child. But most private schools don't have those things. And that's where we take our children. This is not how God called us to parent, my friends. If your children will watch TV, if they will not watch the TV, they will not die. Yes. India. After all, even today, some of us cannot leave our phones. Everywhere we go, we have our phones. Hata ukitoka ukisahau simu utarudi. But zamani, in those days, we didn't have phones. And we lived so perfectly. And then the phones came, the ones that you so you call. You can even write a letter and tell someone, I'll be calling you in this date. So go there at the booth and wait at this time. And they'll go there and wait for a call. We used to do that. I did it with my wife. I would go and wait at the booth. Yes. For a call. Yeah. So sometimes there's another person there. He's answering the call. Time has come. You're waiting. And then everybody goes. There she goes. Jen. Okay. You give it to Jen. And we are perfectly okay. Do we look like we are missing anything? Absolutely not. Okay? Okay? My daughter isn't said something. that annoyed my wife. Okay. She went out without permission. So according to her, it is an adult. Okay. And the adults don't ask permission where they are going. You understand? And then she said that, we were not allowed something like that, to go home, blah, blah, without permission. And then she asked, when was that? You understand the reasoning? So to my daughter, we are too old. We are old school. We don't understand the current situation. My wife was very angry with that. Seriously, very angry that my daughter wanted to make her hair because it has been there for months. And the mother refused completely. Okay? And don't even ask dad about it. So you're not that. Okay. Make your hair. So you're an adult. Yeah. Actually, I told her, if you're an adult, you have to leave this house. Go and live by yourself. Pay your bills. Pay your school fees. So you're an adult. Yes. You do that. Because adults actually take care of themselves. But at this point, the next thing is find other people to speak into their lives. Okay? Now, this one is very important, by the way. Sasa, if my daughter thinks that I am old, okay, and I don't understand the in things, all right, I need to find a reasonable in-thing person and talk to her sense. Or someone else other than me, okay? Another parent other than me. Because sometimes your child may think that you are very old. You don't understand. But when they hear it from another person, it actually kills the arguments. It kills the argument. So find someone else, let them talk to them. Okay? It can really help. There's another pastor, his son used to work somewhere, and he got a job. So the father told him, now this kind of a job you need to put on a suit, because that company normally they put on suits. He said, no, I can't do that. Why? Because he likes to be free with jeans and have to come out. Then he argued with the father and argued, and then the father left it like that. So one day, someone else talked to him, somebody who is some kind of an influencer to this young man. He said, you know what? I want you to accompany me to a certain place. There was something. He said, but I want you to be in suit. He said, suit? Why? Yeah, because I said it so. You have to be smart. When you put on a suit, you look smart, and then people respect you. They just respect the way you appear, Then the guy went home, and he says, Dad, there's that issue of a suit that you talked to me about. I want one. And then the father went like, why? What changed? So, so-and-so talked to me about it, and it made sense. So you see. So sometimes actually find someone else to talk to your child. Sometimes we get, we become embarrassed that people will know that probably our child is struggling. So we want to keep that to ourselves so that other people don't know. By so doing, actually, you're destroying yourself and you're destroying your child. Okay? Find trustworthy people. Let them talk. Yeah? They can really change. But also, you need to partner with your children. There are some parents, they appear as though they are working in competition with their children. Right? When your child, for example, comes up with a proposal that they want to do something, sometimes they are very passionate about something. They want to do something and they need some little money from you to do something. Then you find like, hiyo kitu ni kama waste of money. Some of us, we think that way. But actually, the best thing you can do is to partner with them. Say, okay, we will do this. I will support you this way, in this manner. Okay? You do that, me, I will do this. Okay? So let's be partners in this thing. Let's do it together. When they know that their parent is behind them, nothing will be impossible. But when they receive criticism and negative, whatever, rejection from the parent, these kids cannot do anything again. They will not. You are the number one influencer. They trust, they believe you. So partner with your children, but don't be in competition. Okay? I've seen mothers in competition in giving birth with their children. I saw one actually, until one of the daughter actually confronted the mother. Say, Mama, you're embarrassing us. When are we in competition? Allow me to finish with this one. Training must be focused. Okay? Training must be focused. You know, training is repeating action, which, when left alone, will continue. Okay? That's training. A repeated action that, when left alone, will continue. That's why the Bible says, train a child in the way that he should go. When he's old, he will not depart from it. Even when you stop that training, they will still continue with it. So, I want to give you things that we should train our children to do. Number one, train your child to attend church regularly. Okay? Parents must demonstrate this by becoming regular church attendees themselves. Okay? Attending church regularly. It sounds small, but actually it's a big thing in the whole overall well-being of our child. Some of us don't take church seriously. Some of us don't come to church early, and we don't take it serious, and our children are watching. Okay? And they will follow after your footsteps, and even worse. That's the truth. They may not even come to church. After all, you didn't take it very serious. So train your children to come to church early by setting an example yourself. Come to church early. Bwana asifiwe sana. Alex, umesikia? We come to church early. Train your child to have his or her quiet time every day. Now, this is important. And they need to watch you. They need to see you doing it. Having a quiet time. Now you are kuulize, you know, I'm having a quiet time. Kuulize ni nini hiyo? You explain. Okay? And then you train that you need to have this. And the benefit of this is this and this and this. You explain it to your child. But they need to see you doing it. Okay? I used to have a habit of praying sometimes, not always. And I would pray in my room. I would go there and lock myself there. Pray and pray loud. And sometimes I would pray in tongues. So one day my children asked me, that this language that you talk, actually they said, what is that? I mean, what is that? Do you know what you are saying? What is it, Yani? It's a good time, by the way, now to start to train. Explain what this is. Okay? They have heard it and they have seen it being practiced. Okay? When they grow up, they will not leave that. But also train your child to pray. Train them to pray. Okay? Show them the value of prayer. Nanelewa. Even when your child tells you, Daddy, I want you to buy me this, or I do not have this. Okay? That's a place actually to teach your child how to pray. You can tell them, let's pray about it, and God will provide. Then muombe na yeye. Okay? Don't just say, okay, I will pass by the shop and I bring it. So they'll know everything's come from the shop. But we trust God for many things in life. Okay? Your child is sick. Before you run to the hospital, tell them, let's pray that God touches you and he will heal you. Then you pray with the child. Teach them. Okay? And then train your child to believe in a higher authority that will correct him. Now, that's important. To believe in a higher authority. And this higher authority actually begins both na watu, people that are higher than this person, to make corrections. Okay? But then also, there is God also in heaven. So we have to teach these children so that when he's doing something wrong out there and someone else speak to them who is adult, they will actually take that correction seriously. Okay. One day, we were from church. It was actually on a Sunday morning. Then there's members of our church, ladies. They were sisters, about 4 sisters. And they asked me, please, we need to go to their house and pray for something in their home. They have been asking, so we had made that appointment. So after church, we left together and we boarded a matatu, all of us. And they had a small boy, just a small boy. So we all sat, and that boy was also given a special seat, a seat. The parents paid for a seat. And then, an old mzee actually wanted to come in, and then there was no space. So the makanga akamwambia mami, pakata mtoto, mzee afanye nini? Akae. Kitoto kilikuwa kibonge kimelishwa kweli mayai. And then the mother akasema, no, I will pay. So mzee akafanya nini? Akashuka. I felt so bad. What was this mother teaching this little lad? Zero respect for elders. Zero respect for adults. That money is everything. That's what he was trying to teach. So we teach in many ways our children. So teach them to respect authority. Teach them to respect authority. You know? It is very important. And it begins in the home. It begins in the home. Okay? Of course, we have already talked about train them to work hard at all time in everything that they do. And the home is the best training ground. And then train them to be God conscious at home. Train them to be God conscious at home. Now, my time is, nimechukua time nyingi, but forgive me for that. God is good. That's the, I will just cut it at that point. So, now, there is the experience part now that we will learn from our different places. As we go to those groups, we will share real experiences, okay? And then we will come and present, all right? And then the panelists will try to answer selected questions, all right? And then we will have some experience. Someone will share the experience, all right? Yeah, especially Mama Patience. You must have serious experience raising girls that are now adults, okay? They are adults. And yeah, that's good. So, Newton, what am I supposed to do after here? Oh, Makubi.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Haina shida zote ni zangu. So, yes, Makubu. So, thank you very much. I was going to actually make a joke and say, si tunaweza enda nyumbani. Seminar imeisha. Anyway, thank you very much, Pastor. I think that was very enlightening. We now want to break up into groups. So what we want to do in these groups, before I give you the groups, let me just tell you what we hope you'll do. So just try and, once you choose whichever group makes you happy, it doesn't have to be where you're at. It can be so when I list them, you don't have to necessarily go there. You can go to a group of children who are older or younger than what you get. When you're in the group, please introduce yourselves. We are very few, so a group may have even 5 people. Please get to know each other. This might be the only time people of first and second service ever meet, except when we have combined services. So please introduce yourselves. You can also, then what the purpose of that breakout is just to speak around your experiences with the children you have or hope to have or have had. You know, it's for we are very diverse in this group, so it can then we want the discussions to be individual. So let's avoid as above. Vile huyu amesema hata mimi no guys, it's a small group. Talk about your challenges and possible solutions. Anything that can't be resolved in the group, those are questions we are bringing back to the plenary. So you will have a group leader who will just be taking notes but also participating. So the groups will be people who want to discuss around raising toddlers and preschool children. There'll be those who want to be in a group for preteens. So this would be maybe the 9 to about 12 years old. The teens, so the whole spectrum from 12 around there all the way to young adulthood. And then there'll be a group of young adults or people who have children who are grown up and maybe already working. So we have group leaders. So the group leaders can just stand up when I name them and you can follow whichever group you want. So for the ones who want to speak, who want to talk about toddlers, preschoolers, you know, those the children we have seen running around here will be with Jemima. Chagua kona yako. Where she goes to stand, go and join Jemima if that's what is interesting to you. For the preteens, the 8-year-olds, 12, around there, who are just getting a little bit independent in their way of thinking, will be Lydia Chair. So the ones who want to follow Lydia. For the teens, that what Pastor said, that sort of difficult period of life, Papa Omosh. And then finally, for the ones who want to, you have sort of adult children, any challenges around their children who are working, should be working, maybe university level, will be with George Care. Had seen George, yes. So, chagua group yako, fuata mdosi wako. Toddlers, preschoolers, Jemima, ako pale. Preteens, Lydia is finding a place. So what we will do, I will be going round, and in about 20 minutes, we shall all come back to this plenary. So, Santeni. For the media, maybe if you have a mobile camera, because I think we'll be in groups.
Okay, hii utabidi upeane one group. One group ya na mic na
Then now you can focus on them. So this mic will be revolving because the media people also want to hear. So I'll randomly give it to a group for a few minutes, then take it away. Marshal your troops. I'll come, nitakuja kuwasimamisha shortly. Hivyo and then. And then. just for the media. It's then for the whole session. The media, the media is running, but it's not saying anything.
Sawa, mimi naitwa Alice Kijala.